Hello guys, welcome back with a new lesson. Today we are going to start the very interesting and the most important topic in HTML, which is forms. So everywhere we see when we are applying for some job or for some we want to take admission in something, so we have to submit form over there. So you see this thing everywhere. So because of that, it's very important to understand. And those who want to create form, so and after this lesson, after taking this lesson, you will be able to learn and how to create HTML form very easily. So let's get started. Form: how to collect information from visitor or from user. So in the form we want to create, we want to collect data, we want to get data from the user, so we create form for that purpose. Different kind of form controls. So in this chapter we are going to learn how we create inputs. Actually we create inputs in this and the form. So there are many multiple types of input, which are text input, password input, text area, radio buttons, checkbox, drop down boxes, submit buttons, image button, and file float. So let's see one by one. Text input. So let me create, and in HTML, whenever we want to write something, so we enclose that inside a tag. So here we also use some tags. The first one, which is for using, which we use for form creation, form generation, so that is form tag itself. So let me create form element. You can see it have an attribute which is called action. Action actually used for that purpose when we want to submit our data on a browser, so on a server. So it takes that data and push it on the browser on or the server. So it is used actually per backend. So we are not going to discuss that over here. We will create another lesson. We will discuss in it in another lesson very deeply. So because we are not here to discuss backend, because it's basic and we are just learning how we can create form UI. So we will remove this action attribute. Actually inside this action attribute we put value, and value is which that link where we want to submit our data. So we put that. Let's suppose I want to submit data on my email. So I will write over here I will write my Gmail ID. So whenever I click submit, so the data will push on my Gmail account. So let me create some input inside this form. So the first one we have is text input. So let me write input, sorry, input. You can see here it's defining its type over here. Type is an attribute, and inside its value we define if we want to write we want to create password input or drop down input or checkbox input. So we define inside this type. So here we are creating input type which is text, so it is default text. So another thing which we can do over here is name. We should define its name that the browser can understand what we are writing over here. Name, let me write its username. And another thing, placeholder we can create over here. Placeholder, actually inside placeholder we write that text which we want to display inside our input text. Sometime you see when we are going to log into Facebook or another account, so in the input, inside the input area, they ask us input your or enter your password or enter your username or enter your name. So that is actually because of placeholder. So inside this placeholder, let me write enter your name. Enter your name. Enter your name. And above this input, let me define what is this. So let me write over here inside the p tag name. I'm just copying this, and after this I'm just writing password. So enter your name, we will write here password, and over here in name attribute we will write user password or only password. And this type should be password because we are generating password input. So let's see on the browser. Let me zoom it out. You can see over here we have generated two inputs in our HTML. The first one is input type is text, and the second one is password, and it is displayed over here on the browser. Name, enter your name. Password, enter your password. I hope this too well clear to all of you, which are text input and password input. Text area. The third one is over here text area for longer areas of text such as message and comments. So we use actually text area for multi-line comments or some message. When we want to write some message or some comments, so for that we use text area. It's multi-line input. Let me create some br over here. Br multiply by 2, br multiply by 2, and after that I will create one text area, and you can see over here it has some attributes. Inside the name we can write name, its message, so we will write message or comment. ID we can define its ID, and these two things are the most important, which are calls and rows. Number of rows we can control in our text area. If we want to write many rows, so we can increase this, which is by default 10, and calls are by default it's 30, so we can change it. So let me write it's 20, and this will be 4. I'm creating 20 columns and 4 rows in this text area. So let me refresh my page and see. Yes, you can see this is our text area. So here we can write multi-line comment or multi-line message. It's also called input. It's actually input, but it's multi-line input. So hello sir, how are you? My name is Saif. So this is how we can create form and different fields of form. This is the first one was input type, which type is text. The second input is password, and the third one is text area. So I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's see. The other one is making choice, radio buttons. For making choice we use radio button. Keep it in mind. For use when a user must select one of the number of options, you can see in quizzes. Nowadays we are taking online quizzes, so you can see that when we are some options, we have question, and under that we have some option, and we have to select one of them. So we use radio button for that purpose. So let me create some radio buttons over here. So I'm just creating another input after br multiply by 2, and after that I will create input. Before that, let me create some text which is inside p. how old are you? This is our question, and under this I'm creating some radio buttons. So in this radio button I will write, type will be radio, and value of this should be the thing we want to display to the user, that the user select that. So value over here will be, let me write 18. We have already done all these things. So radio button. This is the syntax of radio button, how we can create it. So we should write input and type should be radio. Name we can write anything. So value, inside value we write that thing which we want to display or the user to select that one. So let me (18 years) So let me refresh the page. Is it working or not? As you can see, we have the first, this is the question, and this is our radio button. And now we have created only one button. So let me copy this one and create some other button that we can select one of them. I have created over here 10 or 12-year-old. You can see over here we have 3 radio buttons under this question. So here we can select only one. If I select the first one, 18 years, so here is some problem, which is because of we didn't write the checked mark over here. So I have to write another thing, which is checked attribute, and its value should be checked. So let's see what's happened. The first one is by default selected. The check attribute we use for this purpose when we want if the user refresh the page or render the page, so the one radio button should be selected by default. So for that purpose we use the check attribute, and its value should be checked. And another thing we can do over here is we can define its name age. Let me write name is age. We can define the name just if we select the one, so the another one is not selected with this. So over here what I'm doing, I'm just defining its name, which should be the same by default. The first one is selected just because of our checked mark. So if I remove this checked attribute and let's see the change, no one should be selected by default. So now we can select any one of this. I have selected the first one, second, third. You can see the change. The other thing over here we have is checkbox. Checkbox we use for that purpose when we want the user to select multiple option. So for that purpose we use checkbox, input type checkbox. So if we allow the user that they select one or two more than one option and the answer, so we use checkbox for that purpose. So let's see. You can see that our form is working very well. This is password input, name input, password input, and this is our message or comment section. We can write anything inside this. It's multi-line input. And this is our radio button. So it's working pretty good. And another thing we have here is checkbox. So let's see how it works. So I have some checkboxes over here. This is our p tag, and this I have written sample. Please select your favorite music service or services. So in you know that in checkbox we use checkbox for that purpose when whenever we want the user to select more than one option. So for that purpose we use checkbox in HTML. So let me refresh the page and see the changes. You can see that over here we have some checkboxes. Please select your favorite music service. This is the first one. I have select this one, and I can select multiple option over here because we have used checkbox option. And checkbox option, inside the input type we have to define its type, which is checkbox, and name should be the same of each and every checkbox, each and every input. This is not important to write over here value, so I am deleting it. So another thing we are having over here is drop down lists. So the same we have code. I'm copying it from here and let me comment this one and also this one. After this I'm pasting my drop down code. So in drop down we should use a tag which is called select, and inside the select we will use option tag. Option tag is used for multiple option we put inside the option. Sometime when we apply for some courses and or we create account on any website, so they gives us the facility that we can select courses or something from their drop down. They already place the name of the things inside their drop down that we can easily find out and select one of them. So this is how we can create drop down. So this is the first one is select tag, and inside select we create some option. So let me paste this one. So I have one p tag over here at the top. What device do you listen to music on? So the first one is iPad, radio, computer. So let's see it on the browser. Let me refresh the page and you can see what device do you listen to music on. So let me open this drop down. So we have these three options over here. So I can select one of them: iPad, radio and computer. This is how we can create drop down in our form. Another thing we are having over here is multiple select box. So let's see how it works. Let me copy this from here and paste it in our code. Let me format it and refresh the page. So this is like a drop down, but we can select more than one in this. I can select more than one over here. So and this we create select tag like the first one we have create above, and inside that select tags we have some options. Another thing we are having over here is how we can upload document or file on website or our website. So for that we have input type file. So let me show you how it works. You can see over here we have first fee tag, upload your song in mp3 format or upload, what's wrong with you, or load your file. Load your document. So we have input and the input type should be file. Name document, let me write document and upload. And after that we have input type which is submit. So this will be like a button, so we can upload file in this way on our website. So upload your document, no file chosen, yet we haven't choose any file. So let me click on the choose file. First let me create some break, some space between these two. Br take. Let me refresh the page and you can see it's look like it's better, it's look better. So let me click on the chosen file that I can upload some file. So let me select some file from here. So HTML file, yeah, or HTML class 4. Let me upload this one. Sorry, it's video, so let me upload another one. So let me upload this picture. You can see our picture have been uploaded over here. So I just click on the upload button to upload it on the server. So you can see our page is refresh. Let me zoom it again. You can see this is very simple how we generate a form and different section of form very easily. So another thing over here is submit button. So you have already seen these things. Type, input type should be the input. We just create one input and that type should be submit, so it will create a button. So let me create input, another input over here. Input, first let me create PR and after that I will create input. Input type should be submit. So let's see. you can see another button we are having here. So this is how we can create button in HTML form.